I had a cousin who was killed in a disaster. 38 miners killed. And I had a cousin who was killed in that. So
was that the family mine?
family mines, yes. And so I don't know the cause of that all, but I know there's 38 men killed at one time. That's a real tragic thing. But different things could happen. You paralyze. We was moving a section one day from one side of the mines to the other, and so the bolt man, he and the machine man was going in front of us.
Can you tell what a bolt man is? That the same thing as
same as penny man, a bolt man?
Okay, and what is a machine man?
That's the one who cuts coal. They call him machine man. Okay. So they were a little ahead of us, and the man that pinned the coal, he come over and he found some wire. The trolley wire was hanging down low there, and he was going to drill a hole right beside the wire, and put a hanger in it to raise the wire back up so we can get the equipment on it. So something happened. I don't know what happened, but when he raised the boom up there to drill the hole, he got connected to that power line, and all that. We heard the big noise roaring and smoke started rolling out there, and so we didn't know what happened exactly. So we started, trying to get in clear, get fresh air, and just you could hear the top was popping and cracking. There was so much heat from that explosion, and I knew where I was going, but I almost lost my way. Just probably traveling 75 feet, and my light would come off. My battery come off my belt, and I'd reach down, pull it, and then put my cap back on my head, and then I'd crawl through a manhole. Manhole is like a hole in a bradish, and that's where you get your air. The bradish takes your air up to your working face. So as I got through that manhole there, I knew it was there beforehand, before the smoke. Good thing I knew it. And then I was not a foreman. I just worked. I was one of the workers. So we got I went over, crawled over to the belt line and started down through there and hollering at the men, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And about 2/3 of them answered yes, we were okay. And then I said, one man, they called him Satan because he cursed a lot. Said Satan and machine man, now Clinton, said, "We don't know where they're at. We thought they was trapped." So I told him, I said, "Y'all stay in the fresh air." I said, "I'm going for help." And I run out there as far as I could run, and I'd walk, and I'd slow down to walk, and then fast walk, and I couldn't walk. I started running again. And the time I got to the outside, I was almost exhausted. And went out there looking at every vehicle sitting out there, and finally, the man that I ride with left his keys in his truck, so I jumped in it. The phones were out somewhere. I don't know where it was, that power outage in her or what, but anyway, we didn't have no phones. And I started down, I drove that truck as fast as I could hold it in the road. Come down to the mouth of the hollow there, and I saw some people out there. And I said, "Have you got a phone?" And this lady said, "Yeah, I've got a phone." I said, "Call." I said, "We need help. We got a mine fire up there, up in the holler." So she said, "I will." And she also called the state police later on, I found out. And I went up to the main office, tried to get up there, and they had a gate across the road. Had to drive up around top of the mountain, long way around. Come down there to the mine office, nobody there. I got on the CB, and I didn't know how to operate one of the things at that time. I never had much. Couldn't get a hold of nobody. So I came back. I think I found someone there and told them, we need help. And I came back, and the time I got back up to where the mines was, where I worked there, they had an ambulance up there, and the rescue workers still there, and the state police was there. And I was exhausted by that time, and then they said, "We think we located old Satan." I said, "But we don't know." He said, "He's on the other side of the mountain." They drill run that mines all the way through the mountain on the other side, and you could get in that way. So I went around there with some man there, and the ambulance driver was over and said, "You better get in the ambulance there." I said, "You're in bad shape." So I laid down the ambulance there, and then later on they said, "Well, we found him. But I said, "Well, praise the Lord," or something like that, And then came back around there, and that ambulance driver tried to get me to go to the hospital, and I said, "No, I'm not going. I have to go home." The story about Satan was later on. I'll tell you, kind of funny, I guess how it was. He said, I give up. So I come crawling down the track there and said, I was about to lose me. Couldn't breathe and all that smoke and everything. He said, I got thinking. He said, well, they found me here, sitting right here in the middle of the track. He was sitting, well, when they found him, he was sitting there like his arms crossed, middle of the track. So he said, they'll find me right here. And he said, I got a young wife now. I said, and she's going to get all I've got. I said, I've got some money in the bank, and I've got some guns, and I've got knives, got almost a new car. I said, you marry a young man. And knowing Satan, he would use cuss words. So he said, no way, no way. He crawled about 15 or 20 feet, fresh air. He got fresh air, and then when they went in there, that's where they found him sitting there. So that's one experience I've had that day, and it's in the mines over there, and it's really something else. I think one of my buddies is trapped in there and can't get out. Well, the other man was a machine man. He knocked one of them branches, knocked the whole neck crawl through and got fresh air. So he was all right. So all through it all, I guess. Well, my daughter's birthday was up on that day, and my wife, I didn't have no phone to call her, so she didn't know where I was at, what's happening. So on Saturday afternoon, and I came in real late that night, and she wanted to know what happened. I told her we had a fire in the mines, and had to wait to get him out. So I guess that's probably one of the most tragic things, I guess.
We asked Daisy to recall her experiences following the explosion.
But he was ignorant the way that happened. They sent a man in there to do something one day, put primer cord in the mines, and not letting the work, or one night, and the next morning these men goes to work, and not even knowing it's in there. And they never done a thing about it. Never have. And it was just useless. 38 men, well, 37, well, that one, done it. He was drunk. The man shouldn't even been over there. Which the boss drunk too, Charles Finley. He stayed drunk all the time. Because Harry told me once, he said, if Charles don't straighten up, he's going to kill a gang of men. I said, well, why? What did you do? He said, stays drunk all the time. So nothing never was done. Or they was a lawyer. I can't even remember his name, come from Louisville, here to Seals. Never done that. We never heard from it anymore. But I'm always afraid that they'd be forgotten. When like a veteran, when they, or, these men, if it wasn't for these men, we wouldn't have nothing either. But the working men in the coal mines really keeps this country going. If it wasn't for them, I think that's more than anybody could do for a country, is to go back in the mines. Now, Harry didn't have it like they've got it today. It was lower than this table. Lower than this table. Because he'd come home with the skin off of his back where he has crawled. There ain't many men today. You couldn't get nobody to do that this day and time. Now, them was what I call men that loved their families and worked for them. And Harold really loved his family. Every morning before he'd go to work, he'd go in there and kiss them 4 girls. They was asleep, but he'd still go in there and kiss them girls. Oh, he loved them so much. You wouldn't believe how he loved them girls. But that morning he went to work. He had went to Kemper's and bought me a rope for the living room for Christmas. And he got him one of them 8-track tape players. Well, that was a big thing, back in. And I got his lunch ready, and he started, and he come back in and sat down. He said, seems like I don't want to go today. I said, well, just stay home then. He said, no, I've got that rug and that tape player. I said, I'd better go because we've got to get that paid off. And he got up and went on. How much I wish he'd never got that stuff. But it's something that you'll never forget. That's his picture over there. He just, he was a father and a husband that'll never be anymore. No matter where you look, I don't think you could find a better. He was so kind, and what helped me the most was he loved his kids so much. He did, he really did. But why should they let somebody run a coal mines now, that drinks all that? Now, there was inspectors there. They had ordered them to shut that mines down on account of the dust. Harold would come home. I'd wash his coveralls in my washer. We had an old time washer then, you know, that got the paddle in it. And most time, it would get stopped up with coal dust. I'd have to take a clothes hanger and unwind it and drop it down through that hole to get it unstopped. Now, can you imagine what a man breathes and stuff like that? And they never done nothing. Waited after 38 men got killed and then started talking about doing things. Too late. For me, it's too late. I will always be angry at that, you know. If they'd have done what they're supposed to done, maybe this wouldn't have happened. And, you know, it's just bad. Bad. Really hurt me now. I never. If I live to be 90, I won't never forget him. He was the love of my life. He was, I always will be. The love of my life.
How did the town of Hyden react to the disaster?
One of the real things that was actively pursued in the town of Hyden right after the tragedy was that if you stopped on the corner to speak to someone, that's all they wanted to talk about, because it was something of interest, county-wide, region-wide, industry-wide, because it involved the whole coal industry. I know that they said that one of the things that happened back in the mine, which again is hearsay, was that they were blasting some rooftops of the mine. It was an underground mine. And that they evidently put too much explosives in it, and they set the explosives off with a primer cord, they call it, which when the fuse burns, and it continues to burn even after it has gone beyond the point of ignition, it just burns all along. And the explosion, according to what I was told, was that explosion lifted the dust and agitated the coal dust, got it all in the air, and then the primer cord was the ignition to set it off. And that's what caused the explosion. So anyway, that's what I was told by the people. I guess you might say this is what the talk was on the street. And some of the mine inspection people, I think, reported it that way. But it was interesting that I guess we talked about it for weeks after that happened. And we finally got a memorial in front of the courthouse to those miners that were killed. Several of them were from Clay County. I think even some from Oil County. Most of them was from Leslie County over in the Big Creek area, where most of them was from. And I heard people talking about the man who set the explosive off, that he knew better to do what he did, but for some reason or other, he overdid it.
I think it took our community quite a while to recover because that was the biggest single disaster Leslie County had ever encountered. We had the '57 flood, which has been talked about for a long time, but that was just so dramatic. It touched so many people in Leslie County. There was hardly a single person not touched by that disaster because they knew these people were a very close-knit community, and that was just the topic of discussion for many, many weeks and months. And there was a lot of frustration and anger. People felt like that somebody should be punished. They felt like that the mine owners, bosses, etc., were to blame for this disaster. It was something that should not have occurred. It was negligence. And I recall I was over in the courthouse when the Division of Mines was here to hold a hearing, and there was just a lot of anger. They wanted someone held accountable because they felt like these people died needlessly.
We filed a lawsuit with that guy from, he come down here to school, Big Creek. My God, what's his name? From Louisville. We signed papers and everything.
Never heard from him.
So I don't know evidently what he done. Yeah, I don't know how many of us went down there at school. We met him. He'd call every now and then for a while, if they was going fine, you know. And, but then we didn't get calls. And then every time we'd call, he was out of office. And so, I don't know what he ever done. No. What we got was the money that I guess the mines was responsible. That compensation or something. Something like that. We got, I believe, 19,000. But I got enough to build these 2 rooms back then. We just had them 4 in there. And I got enough to build these 2 rooms and build me, fix my porch out of it. And we drawed $40-something every 2 weeks till it was, you know, out. And that's, you know, that's the way it went. Seemed like, to me, I thought we was just, you know, people that was left, and everybody told us what to do. You know, like we were stupid or something.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that lawyer, you know, he just come down here and told us, I'll do this and I'll do that, and you just wait. And this will, you know, he would help us. Oh, we put up a big story, you know, how much he cared for us. And if you care for people, you will show it. You won't, when somebody calls you, you won't tell them I'm not here, you know. That's But now the Social Security place, you know, they was awful nice. And the Hyden, the food stamp office, and everybody over here was real nice to us. I don't know, I guess at that time, I was really angry at the world. Because it was something that shouldn't have happened. Really shouldn't have. But you know, life goes on. Really, the one I wanted to punish was Charles Fenner, because he's the one done it. He sent that man in there drunk. He was drunk. It shouldn't have. So he just...
You testified in that case, didn't you?
Yeah. And I told him exactly what I heard said. Nothing was never done.
Can you tell us about the case?
Well, they just wanted us to know, you know, I told them about what I told you all. That when Harold, you know, he come home one day and told me that Charles was going to get some men killed. I said, well, why? And he said he drinks all the time. You know, you can't run a mines and stay drunk all the time. Well, there it was, that one fella. They both stayed drunk. The one that went in and put the primer cord in that mine. These men, these 37 men, did not know that primer cord was in there. That's what I told them. You know, you don't do nothing and stay drunk with 38 lives at hand, or 37. The one, you know, he was drunk. He's the cause of it, him and Charles. But in Harris was talking about how the dust was in there. Well, I didn't have to go and look because I could find it in my washer. I told them that. To have to take my hands and rake the bottom of the washer and throw it out, rake it out. Now, can you imagine working in a place